Good afternoon, everyone. Like she said, my name is Andrew Demmel, and today I want to talk to you about a new development in film and animation. Now, to start off, has anyone here played or seen gameplay from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? Can you show of hands? Alright, so that's quite a few. We may remember that their main selling point was they had the most accurate animation of a person that had ever been done. It was almost a one-to-one likeness of Kevin Spacey. Now, to move on from that, who here went and saw Star Wars Rogue One? Even better crowd. Well, minor spoiler alert for those who didn't. They bring back Grand Moff Tarkin. And they bring him back and they make him look almost identical to how he originally was portrayed in 1977 by Peter Cushing. Now, what's the big difference between these two appearances? Well, Kevin Spacey's still acting today. Peter Cushing passed away almost 23 years before his animated appearance. So today, I want to talk to you about how they brought him back using digital animation. 2, what are the main issues of using the likeness of someone who has passed away? And then 3, what type of legislation needs to be put in place in order to protect people and their likenesses? So to start off on how it was done, it's a very complicated process, but as Dave Itzkoff at the New York Times was looking into his research of how this was done, he found that they used Guy Henry as a body actor. They were able to take pictures of Peter Cushing in his original performance and make a digital mask to layer over his face. Now, Guy Henry was selected because he had about the same build, and he already did a pretty good Grand Moff Tarkin impression. And in addition to that, he was able to kind of fit in that role as that villain character. Now, they also had to use some voice alteration. Now, this isn't a new technology. Back in 2001, Lisa Guernsey with the New York Times brought up this new article about this new product that AT&T was working on. If you want to know how they were able to splice together voices, go pull out an iPhone, hold the home button for a few seconds, and Siri will answer any questions you have. Now, it's not a perfect process. There are many issues with how they layer this over. One of the biggest issues was Guy Henry, when he was speaking and doing his impression, his mouth moved very differently from how Peter Cushing's moved. They had to, frame by frame, move the lip down in order to make it line up with the original footage. Speaking of original footage, they also filmed the two movies using completely different lighting techniques. This led to the Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One looking uncanny and not quite as realistic as their original animations were. Now, this is all well and cool that we were able to bring this stuff back, but I think that we should all agree with Darth Vader. Don't be too proud of this technological terror that you've constructed. We brought someone back from the dead using animation. Now, in order to do this, they had to go and they had to get the permission from Peter Cushing's family and his estate. Now, this is good, but that was all they had to do. They barely had to make an effort to be able to find them and ask, hey, can we use his face? Now, we've been using digital animation in movies for a long time. Max Farrow with Movie Pilot was talking about how we use a lot of consent to do digital age altering in order to make our actors look much younger than they should have. Marvel is known for doing flashback series where they use these images to look back at the past and to fill in some backstory. But no one has ever put in consent to say, sure, if I die, go ahead and keep using my face. It hasn't been done. But there have been a few actors who have been looking ahead at this. Robin Williams made a funny joke in Aladdin. He doesn't want to bring people back from the dead. But he also mentioned in his will that he doesn't want anyone using his likeness for 25 years after his death. Now, that's all well and good, but right to your likeness and protection of your likeness is a state issue. The copyright of a character is a federal law. So even if Peter Cushing said he didn't want to be brought back, LucasArts had the right to bring back Grand Moff Tarkin, who just happened to look a lot like Peter Cushing. The next issue is who gets paid. Right now, our animators and our actors are getting paid just the same as they normally would, but unfortunately, the family who's supplying their actor doesn't get anything. The most that they get is a minor footnote at the end of the credits. Even in college football and music, your artists are getting paid through royalties. The fact that a family wouldn't get any type of payment, either upfront or a royalty, is a disgrace. So the next thing is, being able to move into who decides and what legislation. Right now, the family has the sole say, and the actor, they don't really have much of it. But what I propose is that in every contract that would be written on, hey, I'm going to be in this movie, one of the line items is, are we allowed to bring your likeness back for any future movies? And in what ways would you approve of this? Now, that also asks the question, how far back can we go? Because as long as we have video footage or pictures and an audio recording, we can bring anyone back. But should we? We can bring back Frank Sinatra and he can make a brand new performance for us, but it wouldn't be him. So in order to kind of keep that line of how far we can go back, you go back to one generation. If you can find the son or daughter of this performer or public figure and get their permission, then you can. If there are no remaining children, that's where that line ends. You can't go any further back. The next thing that we need to do is make sure that our families are getting entitled to either a royalty or a payment. This isn't just because of money, but this is a way for reckless usage of someone's likeness to be prevented. And this also gives that respectful thank you, saying, yes, this isn't ours, and we understand that. That's not something that's being done now, but it needs to. The next thing, and the final thing that really needs to be done, is counterfeit protection. At this time, this is a very slow and difficult process, but technology is moving so fast that we're hardly able to keep up with it. All that is going to need to happen in the future is, say someone is disgruntled and upset with how our country is moving politically. All they would have to do is make a realistic animation of a public figure or politician, say something that would spark a riot, a war, and now we've got a much bigger problem. By having some type of watermark in our film, live broadcast, or your animation, being able to distinguish the three will help to prevent any issues with that. Now to conclude, this is a very powerful and a very promising tool that can be used in our film and our animation. It's got a lot of potential in education and entertainment, but right now the protection of our figures is very fragile. By implementing laws in order to protect their images, to supply the families with the respectful payment, and then also to protect our public through counterfeit protection, we will be able to use this tool efficiently and enjoyably. Thank you.